Well, hello everyone, Tech88 here and welcome to another retro gaming review. And now I'm looking at the Amstrad CPC version of Fire and Forget, for which I reviewed the Spectrum version last night. And I wasn't that impressed with it, so let's see how this particular version holds up. Get ready. Again, bland opening screen. Well, as you probably... Oh no, it's got that same problem of not being invincible when you respawn. Well, you can sort of hold down fire. Oh god, it's still got the same disc-shaped thing that wrote fire in it. It's got a little bit blocky, but that's not to be expected with the Amstrad. Oh god, I still find it. Give me some. See, look, I just lost 2 lives there because it spawned me right in front of someone who was already heading to me. Oh god, because it spawned me right in front of something that was already heading towards me, which I had absolutely 0 chance of avoiding. Nope. Got this. The controls in this high score name entry thing are a bit skitty. I only had to get 1 point in order to get on the high score table, and probably I didn't even have to get that. Let's try level 2. It still has the same problem Spectrum version. You can only fire in the direction in which you're actually heading. You can only fire directly in front of you. And this is supposedly the ultimate machine. Oh god. I'm virtually run out of fuel. I mean, look at this. So I've run out of fuel. And it's game over. Now I complained. I was a bit concerned about the Spectrum version because it seemed to be too generous with fuel, but now I feel this version of the way around. I mean, by comparison, this one blooming gobbles fuel like nobody's business. Did you see how quickly that fuel gauge was draining while I was playing? I mean, it's supposedly the ultimate weapon, but it has to be the least fuel efficient vehicle I've ever seen in a video game. See what level 3 is like. Oh, you gotta be having a laugh. See, look at that. What, I'm dead already? It's a frigging joke. I mean, that is almost as bad as when I showed the NES version of Star Evil on an earlier review of mine. I mean, there's a block which is literally centimeters in front of the ship you control, and if you don't hold down left and right as soon as the game begins, you crash straight into it. And those 2 deaths just there reminded me just of that very instance. I'll do 2 again. Why have I suddenly lost a whole chunk of fuel just because I lost a life? How is that fair? As if the game got irritated me. Oh god. I mean, it's fast and it's smooth, but what the hell are those? They look like gold-covered chocolate Easter eggs in the road. I mean, the road moves quite smoothly. Oh, what? Why can't I have a crosshair? At least I'd have a better idea of where I was actually shooting. clearly hit that. Oh, ran out of fuel. Why does it take a huge chunk of your fuel away every time you lose a life? It makes the game friggin' impossible. I'm getting ticked off now. One more go and then I'll wind up this review, I think. I'm going to do 3 again. Oh, what? I didn't even touch that. See, look. What? Oh, God. I've actually had enough of that already. That's Fire and Forget for the Amstrad CPC. It's actually even more irritating than its Spectrum counterpart, and it's still not as much fun. As with that version, graphics and sound are good, but gameplay is utterly is a real pain. So graphics, nice and colourful, a little bit blocky, fast and smooth. Plenty of frames of animation of everything coming towards you as you trundle along. Road moves really really nice and smooth. Sound pretty good as well. I can't really complain about the sound. Everything sounds, everything sounds pretty good, and it was as was expected, and should have been expected. So that's good as well. Gameplay. Well, I'm still irked by the fact that you can only fire in the direction in which your vehicle's headed, and unique to this version over the Spectrum version I reviewed before is I'm actually quite alarmed not only by how quickly this supposedly ultimate vehicle expends fuel, but also the fact that you lose a large chunk of it when you lose a life. And which basically means and unlike that version, there don't seem to be quite as many of those fuel pyramids in the road, which basically means you are considerably more likely to get a game over simply through running out of fuel. I mean, challenging's one thing, but impossible's quite another. And it's still got that same glaring fault of the fact you get absolutely no invulnerability when you respawn, and you don't choose when you respawn, it does that for you. So if there's one of those green tank-like things like what you can see on the screen right there, if there's one of those literally right just about to hit where you're about to appear, it's basically like, tough shit, mate, you're going to die. But you can actually lose pretty much all of your lives because of that kind of thing happening. So I'm going to give Fire and Forget on the Amstrad CPC 3 out of 10. Looks and sounds nice, but it's just an irritation to play, and it's just plain unfair. So I hope you enjoyed that review. Sorry it's a bit of a short one. Texie88 out.